So after the fallout that happened with Jon Gruden, the now former Raiders coach, after his emails exposed some of his racist, misogynistic, exclusionary emails where he was going back and forth, there's one group left to get some justice behind this. Because as I think many people forgot, this whole investigation started with the NFL looking into the Washington football team, at the time the Redskins, about their frat boy, wild way that they've run their organization. And this is where those emails popped in. But the cheerleaders that are associated with everything that happened are kind of still not getting talked about. And that was the whole purpose of this from the beginning. So some of these cheerleaders are looking to have the full report released so we can really get everything behind it. Because there was a couple of blurbs that came out during that New York Times report that started the avalanche of information on Jon Gruden. But we still didn't talk about it. So let's go into some of those details. The Daily Beast reported about this. So in the emails, they were first reported, like I said, by the New York Times, they first reported that, where they allegedly sent by ESPN commentator Jon Gruden, about the Washington football team general manager Bruce Allen. And by the way, that guy hired Jon Gruden's brother Jay to coach the team. There's so many avenues with this now. So the Washington football team, at the time the Redskins, hired Jon Gruden's brother Jay to coach the team and several other men. So that was one of the connections that they have. So they spoke a lot, they emailed a lot. So both teams have been hit by these lawsuits from their cheerleaders in recent years. The Washington football team for allegedly distributing a secret, uncensored video of a cheerleader photo shoot to executives. The Raiders for allegedly failing to pay its cheerleaders the minimum wage. Both teams originally settled this out of court. So this investigation about the frat house nature of the Washington football team, that concluded in July with a $10 million fine against the team. It's one of the harshest ever levied by the NFL, and it was reopened this summer in order to review the emails. The report has never been released to the public or to the women who complained. Instead, the cheerleaders were left to find out about the topless photo incident in the press, which was nearly 4 months later. That's what came out in that New York Times article. So, being quoted about this, it's despicable really to see that there's more evidence of exploitation and violation of these cheerleaders who I worked with very closely with. This was said by Melanie Coburn, who was a cheerleader for that Washington football team. And many of the women who sued over the behind the scenes videos had signed NDAs as part of their settlement, is what she also pointed out. Now, once they signed those NDAs, they couldn't talk about what was going on anymore. They couldn't talk about the frat boy nature of it. They couldn't talk about more details because they're like, oh, we had this settlement, so now we just have to stay quiet. Now, the further things happen and we get some justice when it comes to people that Jon Gruden talked about, from the commissioner on down to the Players Association president. So that all happened, they still haven't received their justice. So she goes, they're now coming out wondering, what the hell? It's more than just these two videos. I can only imagine how they feel and how they have no voice. So the wage theft part, when it came from the Raiders, that's the Washington's part. The wage theft part came from Lacey Thibodeau Fields. She's a former cheerleader for the Raiders who echoed Coburn's message. This 35-year-old, she sued the Raiders for wage theft in 2014, and that set off the rash of similar lawsuits by cheerleaders across the country. I've talked about this before, how it was crazy how NFL cheerleaders are there every Sunday at the home games, and the pay was nothing. The amount of work they have to do is a lot. They had them on stringent diets. If they look a certain way, you're off the team. We can replace you with another woman anytime we want. And then like, so do we get paid? I mean, there's extra events. There's the calendar shoots and golf things and donor situations. All these things. I just want to go to a couple more of these details that they did have to go through when it comes to them working for the team. So the Washington football team in particular had been hit with a slew of allegations by current and former cheerleaders in recent years. So in 2018, former executive Dennis Green resigned after it was reported that he had sold access to a topless cheerleader photo shoot to wealthy patrons as part of the suit package. 5 cheerleaders told the New York Times that they were also required to attend nightclubs with the men and act as their dates. This is straight up like I don't want to call it prostitution, but handing over women whose job is to do completely something different and hand them over to rich people that they just want to use as their dates at nightclubs. Also, in the behind the scenes video incident, first reported by Washington Post last year, the Washington football team staff members were reportedly asked to take footage from the swim shoot and edit it into a video featuring only, quote, the good bits, which were the shots of bare nipples and pubic regions exposed while the cheerleaders were changing clothes or switching positions. So that resulting 10-minute video was then delivered to the team owner, Daniel Snyder, according to the Post. And of course, Daniel Snyder has denied those allegations.
Guys, that's unbelievable. Did you hear that? They had him do a swimsuit issue, and meanwhile they're secretly videotaping them as they're changing so they can catch them topless and zooming in on their pubic regions, as they explain. They make a video of it and send it to the boss, the guy who runs the place. Oh, here, congrats, we tricked the women who work for you into being, and we caught them topless so you could enjoy it. Oh my God, that's like the most nuclear case of sexual harassment I've ever heard of. What, this so-called investigation apparently was concluded 4 months ago. Wait a minute, how does he still own the team? They should, I mean, the cheerleaders should own the team now. That's the kind of case they could bring, but they didn't know until the Gruden thing broke. So thank God somebody had a grudge against Jon Gruden. Otherwise, you might not have found out about the nuclear sexual harassment going on in the Washington football team. Look, you hear about the old boys club and you wonder, like, is it real? But like, as a football fan, I look at guys like Jay Gruden getting hired, and every football fan knows Jay Gruden sucks, right? And that happens 1,000 times. Why is Mike McCarthy the coach of the Cowboys? He was terrible with the Packers, and we can go on and on and on. They keep recycling the same crappy guys, and and then people joke about the old boys club, and they're all these white men. They're probably just friends. You see the emails? No, that's what happens. They're just friends, and they're like, who cares, man? Yeah, black people suck. Let's go. Gay people suck. I'll hire you. Who cares? You get 10 million. You get 10 million, right? And then they're taking dirty pictures of the women who worked there. I mean, this is insane. It's the year 2021. So they got to do something about this. And so Gruden was bad. Yeah, he got fired, and we covered that already. But now let's talk about Bruce Allen and Dan Snyder and Washington. And are we going to do anything about this, Sabrina?
No, it absolutely is a boys' club, and the whole boys supporting boys in this way is problematic because they are exploiting these poor women, not only through their bodies clearly, but through the wage theft as well. To hear that they're barely making minimum wage, these talented, capable women, it's disgusting. And even the ones who did receive some justice through the settlement, they're still muzzled by NDAs. They end up facing more consequences than Snyder himself. How is that fair? How is that justice? It's disgusting.
I mean, by the way, also creepy AF. I mean, okay, part of your job, you have to wear a swimsuit, but we're gonna watch and tape as you change, and we're gonna make an edited tape and send it to the owner. Jesus, how freaking creepy are you? And like, I can't get past how devastating this. By the way, so I had a friend who was a Philadelphia Eagles cheerleader, and this is a long time ago. I haven't talked to her in a while, but the last I talked to her, so I asked, she became a cheerleader, and I said, why? You went to Ivy League school and stuff? She's like, I thought it'd be fun. It's kind of cool. I like the Eagles. It's kind of a fun job to have, and I'm sure I'll go on to other things, etc. And then when she got in there, she's like, oh, this isn't fun. She's like, we get paid almost nothing. This is weird. And then there's all sorts of demeaning stuff all the time. So she left and got a real job. But if you're wondering what's going on here, and they make them go out on dates with the rich sponsors and stuff. No, most of the women have no idea that this is gonna happen. And then the creeps and the perverts come in, and then they do this stuff. They should be sued into oblivion.
What if you don't go on the dates? And then there was, again, it's very strict. This is from my reading of an article. This is like probably 15 years ago, because we did the story on this show before. They're required to do all this extra stuff for nothing. And then on top of that, then you're spying on them and sending it around like, no, if under any other normal circumstances, you hear about some sexual harassment going on within an organization, you may go, oh, I bet it's worse. And you may imagine it get to this level. This is what happened. It got to this level. And we're still, to this day, are like, I mean, we got Gruden out, right?
Yeah, and look, Kaepernick was effectively banned from the league. He sued, they paid him money, they did it. There's no question. Every football fan, real football fan, knows he was banned from the league. Then they got end racism on their end zones now. You know how you could end racism? You could bring back the guy that you fired because you were racist, okay? And you all band together. So Dan Snyder's the owner of the team. I wanna know, did he order that tape and did he receive that tape? If he did, there should be massive consequences. And no one should let that go. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.